Okay then, good morning folks. Welcome to this morning's DMRC meeting. Have we got any apologies or substitutions?
No apologies, convener. Just to make members aware that both councillors Doran and Durno did not take part in a previous consideration of this application, so they're not here today to take part.
Right, thanks for clarifying that. So there are just four members of the committee that are live, which is Councillor Brays, Fairweather, Nicol and myself. Declarations of interest or declarations of transparency? Not seeing any. Okay, I take it there is none. Moving on to the minute of the previous meeting, that was the meeting on the 23rd of February. Is that a correct minute? I'm seeing nodding of heads. Okay, thank you. We'll move on to item 4, which is Street Moneyfeith, and then its response to written procedural notice. And I think Ms Mackay is going to give us a sort of brief summary of this from the side of from the planning perspective. Okay.
Can you just confirm that you can see that okay?
Yeah, that's clear to me. Thank you.
Perfect, thank you. Good morning, I'm Katie Mackay from the Development Plan team at Angus Council, present today as an independent planning advisor to the committee. I have had no previous involvement in the application and I have no conflict of interest relative to the case, the applicant or any interested party. The committee is asked to consider an application for a review seeking the removal of Condition 1 applied to the approval of the proposal for the conversion of the existing garage store to form a single-storey dwelling house at 2B Princes Street, Moneyfeith. This relates to a requirement for the proposal to contribute towards affordable housing, secondary education and open space as the development is considered to have cumulatively met the threshold for affordable housing and developer contributions. For clarification, the application was determined before the adoption of MPF 4, which was adopted in February 23, and as the review relates only to the removal of Condition 1, no further consultation with development standards is required. The case officer report, the notice of review and the grounds of appeal and the response to the written procedure note are detailed in the papers in front of members. Thank you. Back to you, convener.
Meeting which members have been able to read, which details the financials of this 10th house as a development. So really, we're here to consider whether the conditions applied by the planning service are satisfactory or not, and the appeal simply relates to Condition 1, which is the developer contributions effectively. So really, it's just a question now of asserting members' views on this one. I'll maybe just go around the table, perhaps. Councillor Brays, you want to give us your views?
Well, thanks, convener. This is, well, we get all the tricky ones at this committee, of course. You know, it's really quite difficult trying to establish fairness in this case. But I think that on balance, Condition 1 should remain, and so the appeal should be turned down.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Brays. Councillor Nicol.
Thank you, convener. A financial contribution of £45,308 for the school infrastructure in Moneyfeith and a further £518 for the open space. For the conversion of a garage into a dwelling is not reasonable. I feel it's a standalone application and the payment of Condition 1 could jeopardise the works going ahead and leaving this site not the most desirable in the street and would ultimately lose Angus Council income from its rateable value as a dwelling. Condition 1 should be removed, and I would allow this appeal.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Fairweather.
Sorry about that. Thanks, convener. Yeah, I looked at the development appraisal, and certainly with the financial contribution, it's certainly not viable. I mean, under 6% for profit. There's been increased costs. This has gone on for quite a time, and I'm sure there'll be even further increased costs. I do agree with Councillor Nicholl. I'm willing to accept this as a separate development. I wouldn't like it to sit there and be empty, especially in a lovely part of Moneyfeith, and it will eventually generate income for the council through council tax. So, like Councillor Nicholl, I would agree to the removal of condition 1 of planning permission reference 22001 22 full at 2B Princess Street, Moneyfeith. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Fairweather. Yeah, I guess my view on this one is it is a tricky one, and I think that there's a risk, I think, if we uphold the appeal, that we open the gates to developers manipulating situations to avoid developer contributions. I'm not saying that has happened in this case, but potentially it does open the gates to that, and that concerns me. And I think I'm certainly minded to go with the officer's original view and accept the conditions that were applied. For me, there's an obligation on developers to do their due diligence, and I think in this case they haven't done that. And it's very unfortunate. I take the points about the fact that the site won't be developed and potential loss of council tax, but there's also the bigger issue about the developer contributions. And if developers can contrive situations where they only build up to a certain number of properties and then somebody else buys it and then it finishes the develop and then they put their hands up and they say, well, I can't pay the developer contribution, we're opening up a fairly obvious route for any developer to avoid paying any contributions for anything. And that's not the intention of the council. We've got policies in place which we all approved, which said, there's an appropriate contribution required. So I'm going to agree with Councillor Braze here. I guess for formality, Mrs. Forsyth, can we just put this to the vote? Have we got I'll propose the motion that we reject the appeal and agree with the original decision of officers to apply the condition. Have I got a seconder?
Yes, I'll second that, convener.
Okay, thank you. And is there a counter motion?
Yeah, I'll go for that. Okay,
so you're going to move approval of
yes.
Approval of the appeal, which removes conditions, and you're seconding that, Councillor Fairweather?
That's correct. Thank you.
Okay, can we just go to the vote, please, then, Sarah?
Of course, convener. So the motion by yourself, seconded by Councillor Braze, is to dismiss the appeal and that condition 1 of planning permission reference 2200122/full remain. The amendment by Councillor Nicholl, seconded by Councillor Fairweather, is to uphold the appeal and to remove condition 1 of planning permission reference 2200122/full. Please vote motion or amendment. Convener?
Motion.
Councillor Nicholl?
Amendment.
Councillor Braze?
Motion.
Councillor Fairweather?
Amendment.
Convener, there's 2 votes for the motion and 2 votes for the amendment. You would have the casting vote.
Yep, thank you. And I will cast my casting vote for the motion.
The motion is carried, convener, and the appeal is dismissed.
Okay, thanks very much indeed. thanks for attending. Apologies for the delay, which is has dragged over quite a few weeks. And my apologies on that. And I'll wish you a good rest of the day.
Thanks, convener.